We the people want to talk about narco terrorists for a little bit. So lately, Venezuela has been labeled as a terrorist organization running narcotics into the United States. And President Trump has said that anybody caught running drugs into the United States will be killed. And multiple boats have been blown up suspected of containing drugs running into the United States. Now, people over at CNN, Harpies on the View, have said that Pete Hegseth should be declared a war criminal and should be tried as such because he is doing something that is breaking international law. The problem is these boats are not being blown up in international waters, they're being blown up in the United States sovereign waters. They're being blown up because they are suspected of trafficking drugs into the United States. Drugs that are not allowed to come into the United States. There has been a no drugs policy put into effect by Donald Trump, and he will terminate anybody he deems is bringing drugs into this country. Now, that is a clear warning to everybody who is thinking about bringing drugs into this country that they need to rethink their position on this stance because they are running the risk of losing their lives doing so. Multiple boats have been blown up, so more than enough time has been given for people to rethink these decisions. And if you continue to run drugs into this country, you're placing your own life in the hands of somebody else. You are taking your safety and putting it on the table to see if you're going to make it to where your destination is. You're not going to have a long career doing this job, and it needs to be rethought immediately. Pete Hegseth gave an order. The Admiral followed the order. The order was carried out, and the job was done. End of story. Any drugs that are in that water are where they deserve to be. They do not belong on the shores of the United States, killing hundreds of thousands of people. And it's not just the hardened drug addicts that are dying from it. Children are dying from it. Children who have lives to live, but as a lot of teenagers do, they experiment with things. And that one wrong experimentation could end their life. And we're supposed to be upset that some drug terrorists on a boat died trying to bring more drugs into this country. I'm sorry. I don't feel sympathy for that. You knew what you were doing. You knew what the risks were. You rolled the dice and you gambled on something that you should never have gambled on. Coming into this country with drugs for the sole purpose of making money, coming from a cartel or a country that is promoting the sale of drugs in the United States, everybody involved should be labeled as a criminal. It's just plain facts. If you poll most Americans and tell them, hey, or ask them rather, would you be upset if a boat got blown up with 10 people on it? Or would you be more upset with the drugs coming into this country and killing upwards of 100,000 people? And I think they're going to tell you to blow up that boat every single time. And as well as they should. Drugs are a huge problem in this country. And the fact that Democrats, CNN, The View would tell you that what is happening is wrong because 10 lives are in danger is ridiculous. The safety of the people of this country needs to be coming first, needs to be put as a priority. Whether it's from drugs, it's from violence, it's from inner city gangs, it's from illegal aliens. America first means just that. The priority of the safety of the people is placed above the priority and safety of everybody else. You don't like it? Rethink your career choices. If you know that 10 boats have been blown up in the Gulf of Mexico running drugs from one country to another, are you going to continue doing it? Most normal people would say no. Most people that actually care about their own lives would say they're not going to do it. And if you don't care about your life to the point that you're willing to risk being blown up in the middle of an ocean, then I'm not going to care about your life either. And neither are millions of Americans. And CNN and The View trying to tell us that what is happening is wrong No, you're wrong. You're wrong for this narrative that you're trying to spin. You're wrong for trying to tell the American people that what is happening is bad. What is happening is wrong. What is happening is what was actually voted for. A strong leader who's going to put his foot down and do what it takes to protect American citizens. Sometimes protecting American citizens means you have to protect them from their own selves. So, if you can starve a drug addict from the drugs that they're trying to take because you keep blowing up every mean of opportunity that they would have to get their hands on it, then so be it. Donald Trump has done more than what he has promised during his last campaign to be able to protect this country and do what is right. Now people keep saying inflation is up, prices of products are up, and yada yada yada, but ignore the last 4 years under Joe Biden when everything went skyrocketing. But now, over Thanksgiving, Democratic senators and mayors and governors wanted to talk about how prices of groceries are up. I'm sorry, prices of groceries are down. Prices of gas is down. Prices of home commodities are coming down. And if they're not down where you live, the problem isn't what's going on with the economy. The problem is going with where you live. You need to take a look at the Democrats that run your city, your county, your state. Because in a lot of states, prices are coming down. But it's mostly in the red states, the red counties, the red cities, where things are actually starting to see an improvement. The blue counties, the blue states, the blue cities, prices are still up. You can travel from South Carolina to Pennsylvania and see gas prices rising as you go from state to state to state to state. And you can tell where they're rising at by who's in charge. South Carolina is a red state. North Carolina is a red state. Virginia goes back and forth, but has a lot of predominantly blue areas. Pennsylvania has a lot of predominantly blue areas too, and is a blue state run by a Democratic governor. And it shows. And the price difference between gas from South Carolina to Pennsylvania is almost $1 a gallon. That is a huge issue. Gas prices should not be fluctuating to the point that different states have that drastic of a difference. This country needs to take a long, hard look in the mirror at the people that are running it. Take a look at all the good things that some people are doing and all the bad things that others are doing. And who's chirping the loudest when things are going on. Democrats use the rhetoric, the hateful rhetoric of this person's a Nazi, this person does this person doesn't put America first, but they have proven time and time again that they are not the party of the working class. They are the party of the elite, the ones that want to get elite and stay elite. And how do they do that? By controlling the people that put them into power. 99 times out of 100, it's through fear. Fear mongering is what the Democrats use as their greatest tool to control the minds of the people that are not willing to do their own research to see what's going on in this world, in this country. You can do any bit of research online, and you can think for yourselves. You need to stop following the news outlets. Any news outlet that would tell you that what Donald Trump is doing to try to protect the citizens of the United States by blowing up drug cartel boats is wrong, then there's a problem with that news outlet. Any news outlet that would tell you that the last government shutdown was anything more than a Democratic-controlled shutdown is wrong. And anybody who just blindly follows what the news says needs to wake up. We the people need to come to an understanding in this country. Come to the understanding that the news outlets lie. They spin a narrative. No matter what news station you watch, no matter what newspaper you read, there's a narrative behind it. It's either left or it's right. You can't just go by what one news station says. You can't go by what one newspaper says. You can't go by what one political magazine says. You have to see both sides to be able to make an informed decision. And until people start making informed decisions again, things in this country will only continue to get worse. We, the people, need to stand up and realize, in order for things to get better, it's not going to be a Democrat way. It's not going to be a Republican way. It's going to be a combination of all ideas that get us back to where we need to be. Problem is, a lot of people on the Democratic side are not willing to have those conversations. And a lot of people on the Republican side are tired of being called hateful and harmful things by the Democrats, to the point that even if the Democrats were able to stop with their rhetoric, shut their mouths and open their ears, most Republicans are not ready to come to the table, because after years of being bashed and labeled and blamed for things, they don't want nothing to do with anybody on the other side of the aisle. We, the people, need to come together and take this country back from the government that is keeping us divided, keeping us fighting one another, keeping us in such suspicion of one another that we don't trust each other anymore. There used to be a time when communities came together and neighborhoods helped one another. If you were on a bad time, everybody in the neighborhood helped you out. Doors could be unlocked in cars and houses, and people felt safe. Nowadays, you can't ride down the street without going from one neighborhood to another without fearing if you're going to be attacked, carjacked, robbed, or even worse. And that is such a shame, when this country used to be such a beautiful place and such a prosperous place. But above all that, it was a place where people loved and trusted one another. Well, that's all for today. Y'all have a great day. Be safe. See you guys later. Bye.